Hi, I'm Todd Heitkamp, the owner of Dakota Angler here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, with this week's 2-minute fishing report. Well, folks, this past week's weather was definitely one for the record books, to say the least. A lot of record temperatures were set across eastern South Dakota and the tri-state area, and more weather that would be very much typical of what we would see in January. So this is weather that we've been all hoping for that would occur about a month ago, but obviously now we've had to deal with it, and that definitely impacted the weather, impacted the fishing around the area. With a number of people not even venturing out. It was not a week or a weekend of weather fit for people in portable shacks, to say the least. If you had a hard-sided shack, guys were able to venture out and stay fairly warm, but you had to take a little few precautions out there to try to prevent things from breaking out there. And as you well know, with weather like this is when things break down. And as far as the fishing report is concerned, there wasn't many fish that were caught. It was a very slow week. Some fish were being caught at Ponset, Bitter, Wabay, also Reed, then also Dry Lake by Clark, and then also Dry Lake by Willow Lake. Also a few on Sinai as well as Thompson. But as far as variety of fish, it was a mix of perch, walleye, and even a few crappie. But again, it was very few and far between. That pressure was so high, and that's the whole thing that people want to talk about, and we'll talk about it in Todd's Tackle Tips again, about the impact that the pressure had. Well, you definitely saw it this past week, and you need to change it up. Anyone that downsized their jig and also slowed up their presentation and actually fished in a little bit maybe deeper water, because that's where the fish usually go when the pressure is so high, had some success. Now with the weather improving this week, with the pressure beginning to fall and the temperatures beginning to rise, that's when I think you're going to start to see the fish respond. And so I think this weekend is going to be an ideal weekend to get out and hit the ice, because you're going to have ideal ice conditions and the fish will start to respond. In this week's version of Todd's Tackle Tips, we're going to continue talking about the influence that weather has on your success on the ice. And we saw that this past week. We haven't had a week of weather like this in an awfully long time. And the pressure was sky high. And I think you definitely saw that. If you ventured out, you could definitely tell that the fish were negative out there. In other words, they were very hard to coax into biting. They may come up and look at your jig, and if you're watching your electronics, you'll see the fish come up off the bottom, look at it for a while. You try to get them to come up a little bit higher, and they go right back down. Again, very negative, to say the least. Now, a lot of times, a lot of people will realize this, and that the pressure's high, and go to the deeper water, because that's where the pressure kind of forces the fish to go. But you may have to, mix it up a little bit. Instead of going deeper, go contrary to what you would normally do and go shallower. And the reason why is because when the pressure is a little bit higher, most of the fish are negatively impacted, but it also allows an opportunity for the smaller fish to become more active, and also, be opportunist as far as finding bait. And so again, if you go shallower, you may catch smaller fish, but you may find more of them at that point in time. So again, when the pressure's high, it drives the fish deeper. But again, sometimes it may prove to your success to think about going shallower water. Now, the other thing is, people ask me, how do you know that the pressure is so high? Well, this past week was a perfect example of that. The wind was very light, allowed the temperatures to fall like a rock, which means high pressure. And then the other thing is the sky blue, crystal blue sky. On days when the sky is crystal blue and the wind is light, the pressure is the highest, and the influences of that pressure is the greatest upon the fishing. So that's where you have to mix it up by going smaller, trying different things, slowing down your presentation. But when the wind starts to increase, like we'll see this upcoming weekend, that's when the pressure begins to fall. When the wind is the calmest, the pressure is the highest. So again, keep that in mind, and you can watch the little, let's say, nuances or clues that Mother Nature gives you to maybe increase your success the next time you're out there on the ice. And now it's time to take a look at a few photos that you sent in to me this past week. And remember, folks, if you'd like your photo included in next week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report, please send it to me. Send it to todd@dakotaangler.com or post it to our Facebook wall. And if I use your photo, your name will be entered into a monthly drawing for a $25 gift certificate. And folks, before we end this week's report, I want to remind you of our ongoing ice fishing sale, that if you're looking for shacks, augers, clothing, electronics, you name it, as you can see behind me, they're on sale. So if you're looking for those late season deals or those late season items that you've been thinking about all season long, stop on by here at the store. Or if you can't make it by the store at all, give us a call at 605-336-9132 or check us out on the web at dakotaangler.com and we can ship it to you. Now, obviously, we can't ship shacks due to the weight, but again, you can do an in-store pickup and pick it up at your convenience. Again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to give us a call. Well, folks, that's this week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report. For Dakota Angler, I'm the owner, Todd Heitkamp, and as we say around here, fish on! We'll see you next week, and again, thanks for watching.